What's up, guys? This is podcast number 6 of the Mind Movers podcast. I'm Brando, one of your hosts. You can find me on Twitter at mind_of_peace.
And I'm the other co-host, Steve. You can find me on Twitter at youth_thinking. Excited for another podcast.
And Steve also likes to party.
I like to party.
There's some good in this world, Mr. Friend. And it's worth fighting. Wish the ring had never come to me. Wish none of this had happened.
So do all who live to see such times, but that is not for them to decide. All we have to decide is what to do with the time that is given to us.
That's not me at all, actually. That's what's funny.
It's cool beans, man.
But yeah, we're going to be having organic DMT on the podcast to talk about vibrational number theory.
He's also going to share a DMT truth segment with us, which is always something very interesting and, just different. Something cool that you've never really heard before. So we're all pretty excited for that. I hope you are too.
Yeah, and it does have a lot of traction on Twitter. Seems like a lot of people like hearing DMT truth on Twitter.
Yeah, it's like a story time / technique time. It's pretty interesting.
Super interesting. So I'm super pumped for this episode. Should be a good one. A lot of ideas thrown around. It's almost more fun to call them adventures than episodes.
Yeah, it's more of an adventure, really.
I think people would agree with that based on what we've seen.
I would hope so.
So let me get into the
get into the
technical stuff before we. I'll try to make it quick. All of our podcasts are going to be on SoundCloud for a short amount of time. All the new ones are going to be on SoundCloud. So this one's going to be on SoundCloud, and what it does is it usually replaces the other one before it. But you don't have to worry. All of our podcasts are on iTunes, and you can also go over there and subscribe. And every time we upload a podcast, it goes straight to your phone. I believe you have to use the podcast app on iPhone. And you said you had to be upgraded to the newest.
Yeah, you got to have
version.
iOS 7 for the podcast app.
Okay. And we should be coming out with a podcast app, our own iPhone app and Android app soon now that we have our logo finalized. So we'll let you know about that. Basically, if you subscribe, you get them quicker than they actually show up. Don't have to worry about it. Just loads right up to your phone. If you don't have space, you can also check out mindmoverspodcast.libsyn.com, and they'll all be stored there as well. And you can download, comment, share, that kind of stuff as well. I think I covered everything. I'm trying to get them uploaded to YouTube, but that's going to take a little bit more time. It's definitely not as quick as going and subscribing. And while you're there, it'd be cool if you left us a review or a rating. Really helps us out in the iTunes store with rankings and things like that. And you guys have been doing an awesome job quoting the show and leaving comments and replying to us or questioning us with the hashtag MindMoversPodcast. Let's keep that rolling. I just looked up stats for that. 30 days, 5,266 tweets with that hashtag. That's intense. That's spreading. That's awesome.
Let's keep it rolling.
Yeah, let's keep that momentum going. And it's very easy to spread the word when you're at school or in college or anywhere, at work. Just let someone know. There's a lot of people I think that would like it, so who knows? It could keep going faster and faster.
That so many of you are connecting to this show.
Heck yeah. We're also working on a website. Stay tuned for that also. That's going to be pretty sweet. Brando's been putting in a lot of work on the website.
It's gonna look epic.
Yeah. That's probably it for all the technical stuff. I don't think I'm missing anything. If I am, I'm sorry. We'll go right into Herb of the Week.
All right, what's up, guys? You ready for the herb of the week? Herb of the week is gonna be spearmint. It's a very common plant, very easy to grow. It's almost kind of invasive, so it's sometimes if you don't have a lot of space, it's probably best to grow it in like a pot, so it doesn't spread throughout your entire garden and take everything over. Common name is garden mint. Family is Labatae. Part used, the leaves. The energy is cool, and the flavor is spicy and bitter. Systems affected, lungs and liver. Biochemical constituents, you got volatile oil, menthol, menthone, neomenthol, tannins, and a couple other things. Properties, diaphoretic, aromatic, stomachic, calmative, antispasmodic, and a mild alterative. The dose is a standard infusion, which would be like you just put it in tea. It's used for fevers, colds, flu, stomach gas, and depression. Spearmint is useful for many minor acute ailments, including indigestion, cramps, spasms, and peppermint is very similar also. It pretty much has a lot of the same qualities. It's a bit more stimulating, but for the most part, it's pretty much the same. So if you can get either of those, it's very helpful. That's about it for spearmint. It also tastes good. I love the smell of it.
I like the ending. It also tastes good.
It does. It's
That's
fun
awesome.
to chew on.
We could also go into our current reads if we want.
Yeah. I've been reading Confucian and Taoist Wisdom. That's by Edward L. Shaughnessy, and it's an epic book. It starts off with like a lot of history about the origins of Taoism, and then it kind of goes through these like chapters of it's got hold on a sec. The main chapters are family, education, warfare, the Tao, government, sagehood, and death. And in each section, it has like a list of quotes from Taoist people of the past, and they just kind of share these really awesome quotes. Very mind moving. So check that book out.
Super interested in checking that one out.
Yeah, it's epic. It's an older book, but it's cool.
You definitely sent me a picture of it, and I was like, damn, I'm going to have to check that one out. I'm currently reading the book by Alan Watts, the book on the taboo against knowing who you are. I always like reading Alan Watts books because
Gotta love Alan Watts.
he has a way of explaining things with metaphors to make them simple and easy to understand. And I very rarely find anyone who has something to say that's negative about Alan Watts, which is awesome. Like, he appeals to the younger generation. He appeals to philosophers who've studied a lot of different subjects. He appeals to a lot of different people, and I think that's what makes him so successful. And it's almost like he's still alive because his ideas are still refreshing today. And he died in like 1970, so his ideas and when he did his lectures were kind of old, but people are still listening to him and putting music behind him, and it seems like they're fresh, like they were just made in 2010 or something.
I think George Carlin has that same thing where people are he died a couple years back, but people are still listening to him. I think people are going to continue to listen to his stand up, which is, if you look at it and listen to it deeply enough, it's almost like he's preaching philosophy on stage rather than like saying jokes.
Yeah,
a lot of people listen to him.
Yeah, it's
I
super
personally love
important that comedians do. A lot of comedians are really smart. They're even more smart because they take comedy and slip in real shit, like real philosophy into it. And they know that people will listen to it because they're being funny.
I like to call them like truth comedians.
Yeah.
You know, they get the audience to laugh by just saying the truth, which
Hmm.
is somehow really funny because it's like, wow, that's the truth. Why are we so fucking stupid?
And they slam you with the truth, and some people will be like, ooh, because it's like super intense truth. And then they'll crack a joke like behind it, and people will be like, oh, he wasn't, for the people that don't like that stuff, they go, oh, okay, he wasn't super serious. But other people are like, he's just slipping that in there, or she is, to make people feel more comfortable about that truth that just knocked you on your ass.
You gotta laugh. If you don't go through life laughing, I don't know. I don't know what's wrong with you.
But
I love
like Joe
laughing.
Rogan does it too. Like
Oh
he'll
yeah.
throw some truth on you, or a crazy ass idea, and not everyone takes those that well. And then he'll let that joke go, and then he'll wait a little bit, and then he'll go, but I was real fucking high when I thought of that. So that makes the people who don't like those ideas feel more comfortable. Like, oh, he's
Kind of
pothead, that's why he thought of that.
it kind of softens the blow.
Yeah, but he's still laying down that joke on purpose. Like he's still
Yeah.
trying to slip in, an idea, a mind moving idea. I feel like just recently heard something a comedian said about how when you use humor, it opens something up.
I don't know. It might have been.
Why do I feel like you said it to me? I don't remember quotes very well, but I'll try to give you the gist of it.
There's so many.
Oh, it might have been my friend telling me that. But when a comedian's distracting you with comedy, sending these signals to you, and he disguises them as a joke, he can slip in truth into that joke. And your subconscious is kind of like, okay, this is fine, just harmless entertainment, or your conscious brain, this is funny. And when he slips in shit like that under disguise, it's technically like truth is wearing a coat, and you don't know that that's truth, and truth kind of just walks into your subconscious without going unnoticed, and they're slipping that shit in there into
Which
your
is
head.
good.
Yeah, it's perfect. They've just found a way to do it without getting in trouble, because they can
Otherwise,
say some
people will
shit.
reject it.
They can say some shit, dude, that if someone else said it, they would be in trouble. They'd have a knock at the door. So we just need to make sure we're a little more funny when we talk about crazy shit.
Good idea. And joining us now to talk about vibrational number theory and DMT truth is Organic DMT.
What's going on, guys?
What's up, man? Glad you could make it.
Yeah, this is going to be great.
Feels good. Feels good to talk to all the people out there and about vibrational number theory. And it's a lot to go over with. But you guys have any other questions before we start this? Or
Yeah, if you guys can find him on Twitter. That's at Organic DMT. If you want to go on there, give him a follow. He does. He's got a lot of interesting thoughts he puts out there. But go ahead and get on with vibrational number theory. We're pretty excited to learn about it.
Actually, wait, your Twitter handle is not Organic DMT, is it?
no, it's
Oh,
actually
it's not. Oh
It's-
shit.
No,
That's
but
okay.
you know what? Just Google me, Organic DMT, and I'll be there. You'll find me.
Okay. Did you want people having your at Twitter handle or no?
Knowledge fountain. But just Google me. Everyone does that.
Okay. Take it away.
3, 2, 1.
Nice.
Vibrational number theory. Basically, it's the equation of life. You're a number, I'm a number. We're all variables to this equation. Now, with this theory, basically, it's a book that I read. It's called Day of Wisdom According to Number Vibration, written by L. Dow Balliet. And I believe it's a woman. I don't know, it's like conflicting authors on this, but I believe she is a woman. She wrote this book back like in the early 1900s, and basically it was like one of those underground books, that no one really paid attention to, because it's, I don't know, I guess, you know how it was back in the day. A lot of people got prosecuted for their own thoughts and how they spoke and whatnot. But she goes on to, this book is a connection of other books from previous times. And Day of Wisdom According to Number Vibration, and author is L. Dal Balliet. Check it out, Google it,
Nice.
and we'll go from there. But you can also check it out on my blog, organicdmt.wordpress.com. I put a couple links on there, and it's pretty self-explanatory, and you'll find it. But the basic vibrational number theory grid is from 1 through 10, with the addition of 11 and 22. Each number is basically like a set character that was given to you at birth, and let's just say you're playing Tony Hawk, right? And you wanna be a I don't know, Tony Hawk. He has his own little stats and everything, right? And his kickflip is at 80%, and his ollie is at 50%. I don't know, you know what I'm saying? But everyone is set with a character, and we could just build upon it as long as there's realizations that you go and keep adding to that character. But for example, I could say number ones. Let's just say number ones are like natural born leaders. They have their stats are a little bit more set on that side of the grid, like leadership, able to communicate thoughts, all that. And you could get someone like a 6. A 6 is basically one of those that are just like in the middle of everything, and it's kind of harder for them to get out from their set ways that they were groomed with growing up. But basically, it starts as a very low age that sets who you are in the future and all that. But 6 are mainly tend to be more negative, but it could be fixed. But see, like those are just small examples from like the grids from 1 through 10, 11, and 22. But yeah, check it out on organicdmt.wordpress.com, and it'll show you way more details and depths about everything else on it.
How do you find out your number?
You basically add up your birth date. So let's just say, I don't know, let's say 12/23/2010 or something like that. You know what I mean? 1 plus 2 plus 2 plus 3 plus 2 plus 0 plus 0. Wait, what did I say? 2010.
Plus 1 plus 0.
Plus 1 plus
Yeah, there you
0.
go. I kept adding shit. But basically, you add that and you get a number, right? So let's just say that you get 25. So you add up that number, 2 plus 5, and then that's your number right there. So it would be 7.
Oh, okay.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So a lot of people with vibrational number theory, they tend to say, it's math. You know, it's something that was created and blah blah blah. I mean, it's not universal. It's not natural. But if you really think about it, it is, because it came from the mind. Like basically everything here is just it's a hologram from some organic based system. Let's just say the internet. We're all connected now. We've always been connected, and the internet is a replica of what everything is now, because without organic based systems, there's no technology, and like we're just an evolution of our organic system.
So it's a connection within a connection, the internet.
Exactly.
I see.
And that's basically like another topic, but I mean, I'm just going on with my thoughts right now. But going back to vibrational number theory, basically, it's just one of those things that came about that I found randomly, and I plugged it into my life, and it works. Wow. And it's pretty crazy.
So you kind of stumbled across the book, and then you dove into it, and you're like, wow, this is pretty intense. And you kind of study it a lot more now. Or
Yes.
You apply it to your life.
Yes, exactly.
See, I'm very interested in this because I got into personality types and like MBTI and socionics and Enneagram. and started studying that stuff and applied it to my life, and it helped me out a lot. So it'll be cool to kind of see the spiritual side of it. I never really went into astrology or anything like that. Is it astrology? No. What is it called?
Well,
The one where you're like Aries and Leo, and what is that called again?
Like your horoscope?
Horoscopes.
horoscopes,
There you go.
Yeah.
I never
well, I mean,
got
it does
in.
come from astrology because they're looking at the stars and all that.
Yeah.
But
This will be cool to check out and kind of use both techniques, like the personality types and vibrational number theory, and kind of combine
Yes.
them.
and they do correlate. I mean, because and I'm gonna go over this one on the DMT truth later on.
Oh, cool.
That I've set up for you guys. So,
Nice.
but basically, it involves with moon energy and it's all the good stuff. But the personality is an emotion that's universally given power, I guess you could say. So everything has a correlation, but with vibrational number theory, it's like a guide for you to realize what you are, and then you can fix what you have to do. And when you're doing that, your number appears around you. Like that's something from like my personal experiences. Let's just say I'm in mid thought, and I'm thinking about something that's very progressive, of a stat that I know that I need to work on. There'll be times where my number just appears, and I mean that kind of shows you. It's kind of like a universal sign, and it gives you something to really think about even more, because if you go back to what you're realizing at that moment, it's like, wow, it's telling me something. You know what I mean? And you know what? Like, going back to personality, it does help you shape your personality. Because if you have already a strong point personality, let's just say like compassion or something like that, then it automatically boosts it once you keep realizing it, you know? And
Oh, I totally agree with that, dude. It feels
Yeah.
like it's a superpower when you understand, when you read about your own personality.
exactly.
What was I gonna say? Have you heard of I Ching?
I Ching, no, it's not familiar.
I Ching. It's kind of the same way. I can't remember exactly what you do to get your like numbers or whatever, but then you look it up and you read about yourself or about whatever it is you're thinking about when you try to figure out, like, let's say you flip a coin or something. You ask a question and then you kind of look at the I Ching and it'll give you like an answer specific to what you're thinking. But it might be a little generalized, all the responses. So I guess it leads into a question of what do you think about vibrational number theory? Do you think it's like set in stone, this is your number, this is what you are, or can you be like, can you search for answers with vibrational number theory? Is that what you were saying earlier?
It's just another variable in the bigger equation.
Okay.
Of your life equation. So, I mean, it's something that could help you, but it's something that shouldn't be dwelled on, you know? Because then if you only dwell on one thing, it's going to start building an illusion to that's what real life is, you know? And you could like start going, whoa, look at this number here and this number there. Whoa, oh shit, it's telling me this, it's telling me that. I was in this thought. You don't want to do that. Like with anything, actually, you know, you can't get too adaptable to that and just hold on to it. But it also reveals everything else around you that's going on at once. Like, I mean, if you start deep diving into this is who I am, and then you start realizing everyone around you, maybe they're that number, and then you ask them about for their birthday and you find out that it is their number, that's when it really trips you out, because you're kind of thinking, well, I mean, I read an 8, let's just say, for example, I read an 8, and my friend, he acts a lot like an 8, and let me go ask him for his birthday, you know, and then you go from there and you start realizing, damn, he is an 8.
I see.
like,
you start making connections.
So,
exactly.
So I added up my numbers. I came out to be a 9.
Okay, yeah, that's very
Well,
head on right there for you. Yeah.
is it?
That's a 9.
That
Yeah.
describes me. I'll have to read about that more later.
You're basically more of a, you're really organically, naturally spiritual. That's what you are.
Wow. Yeah, I mean that's
Yeah.
pretty
And
accurate.
that's like that's the number for a person that's very, since they were young, they were just, they thought of the world differently. Like they felt like I'm here and they're there, but I'm thinking this way. You get what I'm saying? It's a very good number, and you're, from what I read, from your tweets, and from talking to you here and there, and like, yeah, you do seem like you're a very good nine right there. So,
What
Wow,
about
that's
five?
pretty epic.
I think I'm 5.
You're done. You're done for.
you're
I'm done for?
but
5's the worst.
You're not gonna make it.
No.
you know what? Okay, let's just go back into biblical terms and all that. Um, with vibrational number theory, it's a very, they speak very biblically, I guess you could say. I don't know if that's a word, biblically. I don't know,
It can
but
be a word.
We
There
can
you
make
go.
it a word.
we can make it a word. um, but basically, going back to biblically, because I lost my thought right now. Um, yeah. Okay. Never mind. Damn. Damn. Do you guys ever get that? Like you're thinking, and then you forgot what the fuck you were thinking in the beginning.
Oh, yeah, definitely. If you
that's a
try
common
really
thing.
hard to grab that thought, it goes away even more. So
Yeah,
it's
exactly.
better to just kind of let it flow, and it'll probably come back when you want it to come back.
It's like
Okay.
It's like chasing an animal. The faster you run towards it, the faster that animal runs away.
Exactly.
And then
I
you
just
sit-
had that right now.
Yeah, I mean the universe basically is going to bring it back to you when it feels necessary.
Oh, and guess what? It did.
Sweet.
So Jesus' name resonates at 5.
Wow.
Whoa.
So
So I am done for.
Steve is Jesus.
Shit.
It's a reincarnation.
I didn't want that
What?
responsibility though.
Well, you got it. Sign this waiver. You gotta date it. You gotta. Nah, I'm just kidding. Take photos with. Nah, I'm just kidding. But no, just going back to my point. Jesus' name is 5 because everyone's name has a number as well. The book explains it, and if you correlate, let's just say if you're like a 9, and then let's just say your name is
7.
a 7, okay, and your last name is an 11, you're going to start seeing different things that influence your life path, which that's your birth path number, but other than that, I mean, you're a 9, you're a 5, you guys are a perfect match for what you guys are doing right now.
That's pretty awesome.
Yeah.
Wow.
So because also going back to how it combines everything, like your name and your own personality, it also combines the people around you. For instance, you could have a 1 that's a natural leader. You could have a 2 that brings a dream to life. And you could have a 3 that basically is the belief in what things come about. And if you combine those 3 things, you have a powerhouse of what you need to do. You have a powerhouse for your dream. And it kind of just keeps taking you to what you have to do. Like that's, you know what I mean? Like it's crazy. But I want to read something off the book real quick.
Shoot, man.
Okay, so in everything we trust to the fidelity of nature, the wonderful revealer, who is man's friend or his enemy, according to his attitude of mind. That line right there is just blew my mind when I first read it.
Can you read that one more time for me, please?
Yeah.
I want to hear that again.
In everything we trust to the fidelity of nature, the wonderful revealer, who is man's friend or his enemy, according to his attitude of mind.
Wow.
Yeah, that's a powerful statement.
I really like that.
Yeah, and like it's when I was reading this book, it was just like nonstop I was getting thrown back on my seat, you know, like I almost broke my seat after reading this book. And it's no, it really, I mean, it just takes you to a different world, man. Like, and other books I've read too. The There's another good book. It's damn, it's the understanding of behaviors of human interaction, but I have to get you guys the author on that. I'll probably post it on my Twitter later on or something.
Okay.
Um, but basically, that one talks about the levels of consciousness within people. Like it's a grid from 1 through 1,000, and 100 is like the stepping stone, like 100, 200, 300, 400, 500. Each of those numbers are stepping stones to the next consciousness wave. And let's just put it in perspective. Gandhi, he resonated at like over 800. Let's just say Jesus, he by the artifacts or by the words, you know, that were left behind, like who knows if he's real or not, but either way, words were left behind by someone. Those resonate at almost over 900. Us as a society now, we're barely going over 200. and it's pretty sad if you think about it, because there's only a small amount of people that bring up the equation on that, and we're just left here sitting in the dark, and I mean barely growing because no one else is thinking the same way.
What do those resonating numbers exactly mean?
It's levels. Like if you pass anger, if you pass acceptance,
Oh,
if
okay.
you pass all those traits that basically lead you to evolve to the next person that you need to be. And yeah, but that book is pretty crazy. But yeah, I'll tweet it later. I don't have it on me, but I don't know if you guys do this with books, but do you guys ever just read sections and then read another section from another book?
Always.
Yeah, you know what I mean?
Always.
Like it's fun because I mean you're not only are you building like quick knowledge on from one book, but you're like building your arsenal of connections.
Yeah,
Yes.
I have 9 books on my desk as we speak, and that's also my number. That's weird.
That is
Yeah.
weird.
You see
That's
that?
cool that you brought that up, because you know, in life, society's always like finish things or master this one thing. So I've always felt bad when I never finished a book. But now that I've just kind of let that happen, where I just read bits and pieces of books, it's so much better doing that, because that's what my mind likes to do. It's like swimming against the current when I try to finish one book. It's better to just swim with it.
Now, see, going back to what you said, it's like you need to finish a book. I mean, you don't really need to. I mean, they just set that notion that you have to finish a book in order to gain its knowledge.
Yeah.
And that's something that I'm breaking expectation basically. And I mean, I'm just gonna read whatever I want. And just like how you said, it's more fun and it just keeps growing with it. And I don't know, man, like it's all freaking crazy game out here, and we just gotta keep flowing with it.
I
It's
see
nice.
it as... Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Brandon.
I was gonna say it's nice to pull back from a subject and kind of just let that settle in and maybe dive into something else, or even just give it some time before you go back into it. Kind of let all that stuff that you read just kind of fully understand. I think a lot of people blow straight through books, and I think they kind of miss a lot of the meaning in them. They don't really take the time to fully understand what they're actually reading.
Exactly.
I kind of see it as like, this is how my personality likes to read books, and we definitely need those people that, you know, read books from front to back. That's just their style of reading. So we need them to do their style. The problem was I was trying to fit a style that society was telling me to fit, and that I wasn't going with what was natural to me. And it's almost like the universe is saying, this is the role I need you to play, and when you're going against that role, you're fucking up the big puzzle, basically. So it's much better to just go with your role than it is to try to be something else.
And after doing that, we create balance.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, there's some of us that need to read the whole book, and there's some of us that need to connect every different book out there.
And it's cool because we're just a bunch of connectors right now, from what it sounds like.
Yeah.
I feel like that's why society is like always so constantly depressed because everyone's just trying to be someone else. No one wants to be themselves.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I would agree with that. I mean,
It's like they're scared. Like
yeah,
they're scared to reveal who they are, and be so worried about what they think, what others think. You know, like it's pretty messed up out there.
yeah, and we've been told what's successful, so that's successful, you know? Like finishing textbooks, completing courses, that's what's successful. I have to do that in order to be successful in this system. And it's
Finish
like, no.
college.
Yeah, you need
finish
to
high
just
school.
be your role. And it's crazy because I'm reading about number 5 off of your blog, which is awesome. It's set up perfectly. You just figure out your number and you click on whatever number you are, and you take me to this page of all this information about a number 5, and it's really blowing my mind because of the fact that I did study personality types and read about my type a lot to the point where I understood it, and I'm making a ton of connections with this one as I'm reading through it, and it's kind of blowing me away. So, you know, I'm always kind of skeptical with this stuff because I'm like, oh, it's just super generalized, so that way it fits anybody. And sometimes it's that case, but this is fitting it so well that I'm like, holy shit, I need to go through and read all of this information because there's a lot on here. There's a ton.
There's tons of information, and it's kind of funny because I just kind of kept it simple and effective. You know, you get your number, you go to the page, you do the rest. And with the book, it just goes more in depth of the connections around you. I mean, because right now with what you're reading, it's basically giving you the attributes of what you have, and then when you read the book, it basically shows you how to apply it in your life. Like you're gonna start seeing people around you that match up to those numbers, and you're gonna realize that they've been part of this equation around me to make this thing come about. And yeah, it's pretty trippy, man. Like all connections, we're all connectors, bro.
Yeah.
That's awesome, man. We're gonna have that website, your WordPress. We'll probably put that on the website, and we'll tweet
Okay.
it out and stuff like that, so
Cool.
the listeners can find that easily.
Spread knowledge, not war, man.
Yeah, exactly. That should be the motto. I like how you said that when you find out your number, you kind of start to notice it more often. I've been noticing that with words too lately. Like, I'll say a word that I have not said in 5 months, and then I will see that word like 10 times in a row, and I'll be like, what the heck? That happened to me the other day. I said some word, and then I went on the computer and I saw it, and then someone texted me that word, and then I saw it on the TV, and then I saw it in a book, and then I just kept seeing it everywhere. It was really strange.
Was it like a random word, or was the word
It was vortex. That was the word.
a vortex?
And
Oh, wow.
I can't remember the last time I said that word. So it was pretty strange.
And then I start noticing now. Imagine.
There's
I mean, just it might. I mean, you told me about that word vortex, and I might just start seeing it
Yeah.
around me. You know.
There was there's a word I pay attention to a lot more now when I'm talking to people, and it's I feel. So whenever people say I feel like that person was being mean to me, it puts up a flag in my head, and I go, "Wait. Shouldn't you like understand people a lot more when you say something like I feel?" Like that when you say I feel like organic DMT was being, you know, mean to me in that case. That should be a red flag for you to go, okay, was he really being mean? I did just say I feel like he's being mean to me. So maybe he's not really being mean to me. Maybe I'm perceiving it that way. And it's
Yeah.
kind of crazy
Yeah.
how many times you hear people say, like at work or at school or just wherever you're at, people going, I feel like this situation shouldn't be this way, or I believe, or I feel. It's kind of crazy how many times you pick that up.
That's a good point.
And right after I was thinking about it, someone was reading a Zen book. My girlfriend was reading a Zen book, and she goes, This book says to focus on when people say "I feel" in the beginning of their sentences, and I was like, "Holy shit, that's crazy."
That's crazy. How does that happen?
When you hear that word, it's a great thing to have pop in your head because it stops you to make you think about what you're perceiving. It makes you stop when you hear something like that.
Yeah.
And I guess that's the words that pop in my head frequently now.
Now I'm gonna start noticing that.
Yeah, you're gonna start
Yeah.
noticing. I feel like I'm in a vortex.
I start walking around vortex car like, what the fuck? They make those now? What the heck? No, I'm just kidding. But
Vortex skateboards, Vortex clothing. That's something. Anytime I go on Tumblr, I'll go on there every once in a while, and there's a clothing company. I just remember that now that I see all the time. It's Vortex. I see it every 5 seconds. Vortex. Vortex.
you should buy a shirt from them.
I might.
It's a sign. They're planting a seed in your mind, bro.
Dude, they probably are.
I feel like I should buy Vortex shirts.
Yeah, we should all get Vortex shirts.
I was
feel like we're
playing with
giving them a
words right
free
there.
advertisement right now.
Right?
You're welcome, Vortex. So did you want to get on with your DMT truth?
yeah, we could do
That's
that.
awesome.
Yeah. DMT.
If you want to explain what DMT truth is, what it's about, maybe how you got started doing it, because I know it's something you do quite frequently via Twitter, and I believe on your WordPress also.
Yes. Yeah, DMT Truth is basically a segment of knowledge or a mind technique that I do on Twitter. And it tends to be about 10 to 15 tweets all at once. And it's a quick little perspective gain of knowledge, I guess you could say. Something that I found across the universe and I just spread it. But yeah, DMT Truth actually started maybe when I had like about 300 supporters, and it was like 1 a.m. There's nothing to do, and I was like, anyone want to know about entering the mind's matrix?
Wow.
And they were like, sure. So I just did a little segment, DMT Truth, and then I wrote on the spot type of thinking, and I got a lot of feedback from like only 300 supporters, and they're saying that they really like that and all that. So I kind of made it like a frequent thing every now and then, and I mean it's just been getting a lot of attention, and I really appreciate anyone out there who's listening on this and spreading the knowledge. I'm grateful for that. And
that's really great that they were able to connect.
Exactly.
I like calling those string tweets blogging on Twitter, because that's what I feel like you wrote something up, and then it's just a string of like tweets that you have to read, but when you put it all together, it's almost like a blog post.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Which is cool.
Well, if you think about it, Twitter is a blog, and it's just very limited. But I mean, you could, as long as you're able to control what it is and what it's given to you, you're able to manipulate it and make it into a big segment. Like, yeah. I mean, it's all blog, and
It's like a mixture. It's like a hybrid.
Mixture, exactly. And then you start adding your own blog, you start adding your own website, and you start making a bigger blog.
Yeah.
I don't know. Yeah, guys, I wrote DMT Truth for you guys, and it's about moon energy, and I'm going to start right about now.
Take it away.
DMT Truth. Have you ever wondered how you radically have your moods changed with a feeling of uncontrolled emotions? A lot of it has to do with a certain cycle that human beings have organically evolved with, the moon. The moon has been something part of this earth from the day it was meant to become our moon. What do you think it is? Maybe it's a piece of earth from the colliding of another planet. Or maybe it's a spaceship with many mysteries. We don't know, and we probably will never know. But all I know is that it glows, and it flows with energy that grows. We humans have been part of this realm long enough to adapt to the ways of our own world, our world that grew with us. Oceans of waves are affected by this phenomenon. Can't you say that we are all waves? Water is a conductor, and energy is always flowing and will be conducted. We are water. The earth is water. See it for yourself. Go find an ocean and watch the waves crash with chaotic force to know the energy is real. And watch the moon rise with the rising of your own thoughts. Now, how do you tap into this energy? This limitless energy that's being given to us. It's really easy. It's very simple and it's very organic. On a rising full moon, with a clear sky to merit the clear mind you behold upon it, lay down, look at the moon. Now close your eyes. Sit still and just listen to the night. Just listen to the universe all around you. Now ask yourself, how do you feel? Like really, how exactly do you feel right now? Just be completely honest to reveal the expression that was locked away all day from the moon's ongoing power. Maybe you woke up feeling like you were a piece of shit with no feeling of movement by the means of feeling stuck. Or maybe you woke up feeling good from the idea of appreciating another day on this beautiful creation we call life. Either way, the day was locked with the first day's inner light and emotion. The first light that stays lit and in motion. The realization of you possessing this emotion releases the expression out to leave a blank spot for your feeling. The feeling of your own light with visions from your own mind. Visions of the day that lays ahead. Just imagine, just keep imagining what's going to happen the next day. Imagine the emotion you want to feel in them. And they will become deja vus in the manifestation of the next day. The full moon has power that can help you harness the creative power of your imagination to create magnetic waves that brings your mind's life into real life. And keep focusing, feeling on the outer with your mind programming the vision you want to come about. And then when you awake, you realize you were asleep. That concludes DMT Truth.
Wow, I want to give you a round of applause for that. Yeah, that was
blew my
great.
mind.
That was
I love
awesome.
the connection between the moon, the ocean, and also the water in our own bodies, because that's something we touched on last podcast.
Exactly.
That was like, that's a poem. A really, really long poem.
Filled with knowledge.
That was good.
Yes.
That's
Yes.
why he's the knowledge fountain.
I'm
And,
going to have fun listening to that one over again.
That sounds good, man. Yeah, I just want to say I appreciate you guys for bringing me on the show. The podcast is super sick, and I've been a fan since day one. Yeah, man, let's just keep spreading knowledge, not more.
We're definitely gonna have you come back on, and what we can do in the future is maybe once a month on our podcast, we'll have you come on at the beginning, and you can read one of those DMT truths for the listeners.
Definitely, dude. I'll go. I mean, that's cool. That's just something else for the world, to bring, and just keep doing it.
That was awesome. I appreciate you reading that on our podcast.
Sure, the listeners will really like that.
We'll be seeing quotes from that for sure. I know the listeners will be quoting that.
Hey, guys, you guys inspired me, so let's inspire everyone else.
Yeah, I agree. And also, check out this guy's blog. Like you said, you can type in vibrational number theory in Google, and you're pretty high up on the listings. You're on front page, so that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
So I highly recommend people add up their number or add up their birth date and figure that out and go check it out, because there's a lot of information to read. And I'll probably be spending most of the day today reading that.
And that website is you can go to www.organicdmt.wordpress.com, and then you can just search through his blog. I'm sure you could probably just type in vibrational number theory and it'll come up.
Yeah, it should be there.
So please do that.
So I had a couple of questions for you guys.
Oh, okay.
Sweet. We like questions. Questions are our favorite.
Questions come from answers that are already answered, but you just got to make a question for. But
Oh, wow.
Yeah, this guy's just blowing minds left and right.
Now, how do you guys feel about the world right now? Like, what do you feel is not exactly what, but why and how and what could we do to make this world better? Like, how do you guys feel how it is now and how we can make it better?
Okay. Did you want to go first, Brandon, or you want me to go first?
I would say there's a lot of greed. There's a lot of laziness.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of people take things for granted, but I feel like there's a shift that's going on, especially among the younger generation. I think it has a lot to do with things like Twitter, social media, the internet, a lot of this things that connect us all over the world. I mean, people listen to this podcast in South America, people in
That's amazing.
South Africa. We have like people in Mozambique and Namibia. I think I said that wrong, but South Africa, Chile, Venezuela. People are listening to this podcast all over, and it's not just this podcast. It's a multitude of similar podcasts like this. People like Joe Rogan, um, Chris Ryan, who are sharing these thoughts, and Duncan Trussell sharing this positive energy and kind of just helping people to just be not more positive, but to appreciate the positive times and kind of just embrace the negative times.
Yes.
And that's where I'm at in the world. I think a lot of change is happening.
Yes, and see, going back to the other book that I'm gonna tweet about later on because I don't have the information with me. I'm gonna basically we've entered 200, and that's one of the stages that lets the next wave of evolution come in. But I totally agree with you. I totally agree with what you said.
When you talk about the stages too, that's really interesting because I saw a picture the other day and it had like a list of egotistical like thoughts, and then it had a list of I forget. I think it said spiritual thoughts or enlightened thoughts maybe. And on the egotistical side, it was like me and greed and things like that. And then on the other side, it was like we and need, and it's kind of like the
Yeah.
opposite. So it's like the higher our resonation is, the further away we're pulling from the ego, and the closer we're getting to enlightenment.
Yes.
So Steve, how do you feel about the world?
This might be kind of jumbled up thoughts, but I'll try my best. When I was about 18, I started diving into conspiracy theories and,
Okay.
government stuff, revolution. Like, I need to be out on the streets fighting this thing. And as I grew up, I started to realize that maybe that wasn't the answer that would fix this entire mess.
Mhm.
And I think I learned that from the documentary Kymatica. I think it's called Kymatica. And it was basically like, we're going to have a revolution, we're going to knock this government out, but the idea behind that government still exists.
Exactly.
And a new government will just take its place. So I started thinking, well, if that's not the answer, what is the answer? And I kept searching and I kept searching. And I started to realize that we all have that friend that won't change their ways. Even though we tell them or help them or guide them to change their ways, we all have that friend that won't change. They'll keep doing what they're doing. So let's say we find out world peace is possible. Let's forget yin yang and all that stuff. That world peace is possible. You're always going to have that friend that doesn't change. And if everybody has that friend, that's a lot of people that won't change.
That's half the society almost.
And deep down that you can't change that person. What's the only option left? That person has to change within themselves. That person might change if they see that you changed. You don't have to tell them that you changed. You just have to show them that you changed.
Because you inspire to becoming inspired.
Exactly. And I realized that when I was 18, I was focusing on all these issues that maybe the government wants me to focus on because I'm not spending time doing this podcast, talking to Brandon, talking to you. I'm spending time researching and getting depressed about terrible things. And when you take it's almost like the universe is doing this on purpose, because if it gets really bad, it makes the good that much sweeter. It's like your mom putting cookies really high up on the cabinets. When you get those cookies are going to taste pretty damn good because you worked pretty hard to get there. You see what I'm saying?
Rugrats.
So it's really bad now, but I feel like the universe is doing this because it has a plan. And if it just gave you a perfect world, you would not appreciate that shit. So it's kind of hard to say it because there's a lot of people in trouble. But I try not to focus on all that, and I feel like I'm doing my part by fixing myself. And it could sound selfish, but if you fix yourself and then you talk on this podcast, there's people already saying that, like, hey, you helped me out a lot. And that's all that I really want to do, is just guide people, because I feel like that's with my actions, not with my, not going and telling people, like, this is the way you need to be. So I guess the answer is what we touched on earlier, is you need to find your role, and you just need to embrace that role and be the best role you can be in the universe. Because I think that's what the universe has planned. And I guess the more the government tries to suppress information or suppress these things, the sweeter they are when you find out about them. This podcast is doing well because they've suppressed that shit. These are ideas that have been talked about for a long time. The only reason that they're super sweet now is because people aren't hearing about them. So the government or whoever's in charge of this whole planet, they think that they're doing a good job of keeping this information behind closed doors, but they're actually making it more enticing, and it leaves a lot bigger impression on you when you do find out what the truth is. So I don't know. I kind of feel like it's all been planned, and it's like the universe is a very great teacher and parent. Mm-hmm. So I guess that's how I feel about that.
Wow, that was very
obviously
beautiful.
I've thought about it a lot.
Very expressive, man.
And I noticed at the end you said that's how I feel about it. So maybe you're not 100% sure.
Yeah, I'm not 100% sure. That's just what I've experienced so far.
And you connected a past thought to a present thought.
Yeah. And I liked how you touched on the conspiracy thing, because I found myself diving deep into it maybe like maybe like 5 or 6 months ago only. And this is probably when I had like no followers on Twitter, and I started diving into it. And I guess after I got out of that whole like believing all these conspiracy theories, I just started thinking more, and like, maybe the conspiracy theories aren't there to sit there and believe like, oh, there's 100% there's chemtrails, or 100% this or this. It's more so to kind of question those actions in general. It's like, well, maybe I should just stop blindly following these actions, and maybe kind of just think about it for a sec or ask questions. And then I kind of started to pull away from that, just like you did, and started just working on myself. And I learned how to like push myself into a positive state, and kind of just push that outward in the universe.
Yeah, and when you
definitely
when you dive into conspiracy theories and stuff, that's a very very depressed and dark world if you get deep enough into it. And it's just
because it's like it's very self-illusional to whoever made it up. It's very on a self perspective of their own notion of how they're processing what they see around them, and they're just forcing to connect the dots. Mm-hmm. They're not naturally connecting all the dots. You know what I mean? So it's pretty crazy. It's just all over the place with that.
And maybe it was necessary that I went through that. I mean,
I was thinking the same thing.
Yeah. So it makes this moment a lot better, I think.
Yeah. It's not that all conspiracy theories are wrong, because like there is a good list of facts behind a lot of these things. So like I think a lot of conspiracy theories are placed in the wrong category. A lot of them really aren't theories. A lot of them are just facts that are ignored constantly.
Hmm. Or facts that are manipulated
Or that too, yeah. Or misconceived.
it's so
or misconceived.
complex that you just spend so much time and you're like, wait, I thought this was right, and then you spend a whole day researching that thing, and then you find out that it's leading down another rabbit hole, and it takes up a lot of your time.
It's a distraction.
For me, I felt as though I could spend that time on something more productive for my life. So that's not to say that's for everyone, but who knows? That was a really good question, and I'm glad you asked it. That was good.
Maybe it was planned out.
Perhaps.
Or maybe not. I've noticed a lot of people are very involved with the revolutions and protests happening in like Ukraine
Hmm.
and Venezuela. And I don't know if that's the right thing to be doing. I mean, I think it's really great what they're doing. I don't know if it's going to be the answer, but I think it's great that they're doing something. It's great that they're standing up for themselves. But what are we doing here? A lot of people in America are so focused on these revolutions happening in other countries that they're ignoring the one going on in their own country, in their own place that they live, in their own town, in their own life. They're kind of just ignoring that. It's like two people are sitting in a hole and the one guy's climbing out and the other guy is just sitting there watching the other guy climb out. They're just kind of ignoring it. They're not helping themselves. They're just kind of watching other people help themselves. And that's kind of a sad thing to do, I would think.
No. I mean, it's distractions. Society as a whole has a lot of distractions. You know, um, we have what is this celebrity wearing? What is who's going to be playing the big game on this day? It just feels like it's a controlled society, like a controlled system where we go work and we're being used as tools, and then we go back home and drink beer and watch sports or watch this or be thinking about that, and it's all controlled. I feel.
I mean,
Yeah.
you wake up in the morning and what do most people do? They drink coffee so they can get through the day. Coffee is like a stimulant for your mind to wake you up. It's a drug. It's literally a drug. So you wake up, you take some drugs that say, "Hey, I can, work all day." Then you go to work and you go on break because work sucks and it's stressful. So you go on break and you smoke 4 cigarettes. Then you go back and you work some more, maybe have another cup of coffee, and then you have another cigarette break. You smoke some more, and then you go home after you've missed most people work 9 to 5. Those are the best hours of the day. That's the where all the sunlight is 9 to 5. That's where you get all that positive energy from the sun. And you go home and sit in your house and watch depressing TV, depressing news. I mean, not everything on TV is depressing, but you watch the depressing news and you drink alcohol and you kind of just wash away all the painful shit that you did today and you forget about it and you wake up and do the same thing tomorrow. It's literally we're literally a society addicted to those three drugs. I would say, coffee, cigarettes, and alcohol. And I think Bill Hicks had a good thing on that. I don't know if he mentioned coffee. I think it was just alcohol and cigarettes. But Bill Hicks has a good stand up on that.
Mm.
Isn't it like, this is your brain on drugs, and then the next commercial's like, this bud's for you?
and then the Budweiser frogs come out.
Yeah.
They're like, don't drink beer. I was
Did you say you had a couple questions, or was that the main one?
Yeah, that was actually the main one.
Okay, cool.
It's a big question.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that was good.
Yeah, but like I said, guys, I'm really grateful for being on the show and being able to talk to you fellas and spread knowledge and not war.
We will definitely have you on again, for sure. So,
Yeah, definitely.
Cool.
So get your organic DMT truths ready, because we'll have you back on for that. That was really something different and something epic. I think a
Will
lot
do,
of people
man.
are gonna like that.
Appreciate it, bro.
Yeah, and thanks for coming on. Thanks for sacrificing some of your time to talk with us. And definitely we're all going to be growing together and sharing our perspectives, and that in itself helps people grow, seeing other points of view. And it's just really nice to have civil discussion too, not arguing, not
Yes.
cussing, not getting jealous. It's really nice to have good positive idea sharing. I don't get much of that in the real world, so this is kind of my outlet. Like, yes, finally I get to discuss ideas, abstract thoughts. So it means a lot to me.
Definitely.
All right, well, until next time, that is Organic DMT, and you can find him on Twitter. This is his real @name, Knowledge Fount, and then the letter N. Right? Thanks for coming on.
It'll also be in the
Thanks.
description too, so
All right, guys. Have a good
right.
one.
Peace.
thanks. See you later.
Later.
Yeah, so I mean, that was a really good podcast, and I'm super pumped.
Hope you guys enjoy this one. This is podcast number 6 with guest Organic DMT. Until next time, have a good one. Peace.
It was awesome. See you guys later. 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 See you guys later.